Hi everyone, welcome to the History of Football channel. Today I'll be doing another former football ground, not a forgotten football ground, but a former football ground of a club that's very well known around the world, and that's Arsenal Football Club and their former home ground of Highbury from 1913 to 2006. I've got a whole playlist on former grounds, go and check it out, but tonight's video will be about Highbury Stadium. Arsenal were founded in 1886 as Dial Square Football Club, and they briefly played on Plumstead Common and then at the Manor Ground in Plumstead. They spent 3 years at the nearby Invicta Ground before returning to the Manor Ground in Plumstead, where they played up until their move to North London in 1913. The club moved to recreation fields of St John's College of Divinity for £20,000. The lease negotiation was also agreed that no matches were to be played on holy days and that no intoxicating liquor would be sold at the stadium. However, these stipulations were dropped within a year. During the summer of 1913, the ground was built and it was designed by Archibald Leach, an architect of many other football grounds of that era. It featured a single stand on the eastern side and the other three sides had banked terracing. The new stadium cost £125,000. Arsenal opened the ground when it was not fully complete during the 1913-1914 season against Leicester Fosse on the 6th of September 1913. It was a second division game with Arsenal winning 2-1. Leicester's Tommy Benfield scored the first goal at the new ground, while George Joby was the first Arsenal player to score at Highbury. In 1925, Arsenal Football Club bought the stadium site outright for £64,000. During the 1930s, Highbury went under major redevelopment as the club wanted to capture the grandeur of Villa Park, home of Aston Villa. Most of Archibald Leach's design was removed. The Highbury project was ambitious in its scale and reach. The first stand was completed, being the West Stand, designed by Claude Waterflow Ferrier and William Binney in the Art Deco style, which opened in 1932. During that same year, Leach's main stand was demolished to make way for a new East Stand matching the West in 1936. The West Stand cost £45,000, while the East Stand went far over budget and ended up costing £130,000, mainly thanks to the expense of the facade. The North Bank terrace was given a roof, and the southern terrace had a clock fitted to its front, giving its name the Clock End. Highbury suffered damage during the Second World War, with the North Bank terrace being bombed and had to be rebuilt. The roof of that end was not restored until 1956. Floodlights were fitted in 1951, with the first floodlit match being a friendly against Hapoel Tel Aviv on the 9th of September that year. In 1964, undersoil heating was added, but unlike many other grounds, Arsenal refused to install perimeter fencing, which made it ineligible to host FA Cup semi-finals. Before the Taylor Report and the era of all-seater stadiums in Britain, both the North Bank and the Clock End consisted of terracing, and the stadium often saw crowds of up to 60,000 people. The Clock End was redeveloped in the 1988-89 season with the addition of a roof and 48 executive boxes, while seating was fitted into the remaining standing area in 1993. Due to the Taylor Report as well, the North Bank, which housed Arsenal's most passionate supporters, was demolished at the end of the 1991-1992 season. The North Bank redevelopment was finished in August 1993 at a cost of £20 million. The new North Bank stand contained a museum and a concourse with video arcades, bars, confectionery counters, souvenir shops and fast food stands. With the post-Taylor Report, Highbury's capacity was limited, and there were restrictions such as the East Stand status as a listed building and the fact that the stadium was surrounded on all sides by a residential area, which made any future expansion of Highbury difficult and expensive. In October 1998, just after Arsenal started playing Champions League games at Wembley, the club made an unsuccessful bid to buy the stadium and make it a permanent home to share with the England national football team. In November 1999, Arsenal decided to leave Highbury and construct a new 60,000-seat stadium at nearby Ashburton Grove. This was confirmed in October 2004 that the new stadium would also be called the Emirates Stadium as part of a sponsorship deal with Emirates Airlines. For their final season at Highbury in 2005-2006, Arsenal ran a series of promotions honouring the stadium's legacy. A commemorative logo was designed featuring the club's traditional Art Deco crest from the 1930s, and the club's history at Highbury was celebrated through a series of themed match days. The club even wore a special kit throughout the year, which was designed on the solid red currant shirt that they wore at Highbury in their first season in 1913-1914. Arsenal's final game at the stadium was their Premier League match on the 7th of May 2006 against Wigan Athletic. Arsenal went into the match knowing that they had to win the game in order to better Tottenham Hotspur and qualify for the Champions League once again. Having been down 2-1, a hat-trick by Thierry Henry secured qualification, with Henry kneeling down to kiss the turf on scoring what proved to be the final goal seen at the stadium. Following the closure of the stadium, Arsenal held an auction to sell off many of the stadium's parts, including pieces of the pitch, the goalposts and former manager George Graham's desks. Sale of the stadium seats had to be cancelled after it was found that the seats contained trace amounts of the toxic metal cadmium. In 2010, Highbury was redeveloped and converted into flats in a project known as Highbury Square, a scheme that had 711 properties built on the site. The North Bank and Clock End stands were demolished. The exteriors of the listed Art Deco East stand and the matching West stand were preserved and incorporated into the new developments, while the rest of the stand structures were removed and the pitch became a communal garden. Arsenal's clock was moved from Highbury to the outer side of the new Emirates Stadium, with a new larger version of the feature added inside the ground in August 2010. At the same time as the unveiling of the new clock, the south stands at the venue were also named Clock End in line with what was named previously used at Highbury. Arsenal's biggest win at Highbury came on the 9th of January 1932 with an 11-1 victory over Darwin in the FA Cup. Their biggest defeats were a 5-0 loss to Huddersfield Town in the First Division on the 14th of February 1925 and again against Chelsea in a League Cup game on the 11th of November 1998. In total, Highbury hosted 2,010 Arsenal matches. Arsenal won 1,196 of those, and they had an overall win percentage at the ground of 60%. Highbury also hosted 12 internationals in its time, and it also hosted 12 FA Cup semi-finals, with the last one being a 3-0 victory to Chelsea in 1997 over Wimbledon. Another obscure fact was Arsenal hosted one Rugby League match on the 10th of October 1921 as part of Australia's tour of Great Britain. The match saw England defeat Australia 5-4 in front of 12,000 supporters. The record attendance at Highbury come on the 9th of March 1935 when Arsenal played against Sunderland in the First Division. The match finished 0-0 and the crowd was 73,295 people. So that concludes my video on Highbury, or as it was officially known as the Arsenal Stadium, between 1913 to 2006. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed the video and if you've been to this ground before. I never went to Highbury myself personally, but I did watch many matches on the telly that featured Arsenal at Highbury, and unfortunately they had to move. It's similar to a couple of other grounds, they just couldn't redevelop it. It was going to be too expensive, and the club wanted to move in a new direction and they decided to move to the Emirates. But if you're an Arsenal supporter watching this video, let me know if you prefer the Emirates over Highbury, or you prefer Highbury over the Emirates. And if you like history of football on YouTube, then I also have a TikTok, Instagram and Facebook page. Go and check those out, link in the description below. Anyways, this has been History of Football, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Alright, tatty bye for now.